Have you ever wondered why some countries are incredibly wealthy, while others struggle with poverty? And why certain nations consistently dominate the headlines and global conversations? What makes them so influential on the world stage? The answer, more often than not, lies in the complex realm of geopolitics. Geopolitics, at its core, is about how geography, land, the very ground beneath our feet, rivers, the lifeblood of civilizations, mountains, natural barriers and sources of resources, and seas, the highways of global trade, fundamentally shapes the decisions, strategies and relationships between countries. It's the stage upon which international relations play out. Every trade deal meticulously negotiated, every tense border dispute simmering with potential conflict, or strategic alliance you hear about in the news, is, in essence, geopolitics in action, a direct result of geographical considerations. The smartphone in your pocket, connecting you to the world, the fluctuating price of gasoline at the pump, impacting your daily commute, and even your country's overall security and defense strategies, all are profoundly influenced by the underlying forces of global geography and resource distribution. Imagine the world as a giant interconnected neighborhood, where some houses boast prime locations with access to resources and trade routes, while others find themselves isolated and vulnerable. Their interactions, whether friendly or hostile, trade agreements, bitter disputes, and strategic alliances, are all profoundly shaped by where they sit, their geographical positioning on the global map. Understanding geopolitics empowers us to decode complex world news, revealing the underlying patterns, hidden connections, and fundamental motivations that drive global events and shape international relations. Why, for example, does Russia consistently seek access to warm water ports? And why is the South China Sea such a fiercely contested and strategically important waterway? The answers to these critical questions are, quite literally, written on the map. Ultimately, geopolitics is the compelling story of how the Earth itself, with its diverse landscapes and strategic resources, shapes the destinies of nations and the course of human history. Picture the world as a chessboard, each country a player with pieces like military, economy, and technology. The board's layout, mountains, oceans, plains, determines each nation's strategy. Nations form alliances, impose sanctions, and build bases to control the board and secure their future. The best players think several moves ahead, adapting to new technologies and shifting landscapes. Unlike chess, this game never ends. New players join, rules change, and the board itself can shift. Climate change, for example, opens new shipping lanes and creates new conflicts. International corporations and social movements act as wildcards, making the game unpredictable. It's a messy, multi-layered contest of power and survival. Understanding this game-like dynamic is key to understanding why nations act as they do. Geography is the fundamental bedrock upon which geopolitics is built. It's the stage upon which nations act. No leader, regardless of their ambition or ideology, can escape its influence. Geography dictates possibilities and limitations. A country's mountains, its winding rivers, and its expansive coastlines, all these elements are the cards it's dealt at the very beginning. It's the hand they must learn to play. Mountains can provide natural protection, creating a secure haven as seen in Switzerland, or leave a nation vulnerable and exposed to invasion, as historically experienced by Poland. Rivers and oceans serve as vital lifelines, facilitating trade, projecting power, and connecting nations. Landlocked countries often face significant struggles in gaining access to global markets and resources. The UK and Japan, blessed with extensive coastlines, naturally evolved into dominant naval powers. Bolivia and Uganda, being landlocked, grapple with inherent disadvantages in trade and geopolitical influence. Climate matters a great deal too, shaping agricultural potential and influencing military campaigns. Russia's notoriously harsh winters have historically repelled numerous invaders, proving to be a formidable defense, while fertile agricultural regions such as the American Midwest fuel economic prosperity and national strength. Geography isn't merely a passive backdrop, it's a dynamic and active force, constantly shaping nations' destinies and influencing their trajectories. Leaders must skillfully play the hand that geography deals them, navigating its constraints and leveraging its advantages for better or worse. The physical world sets the stage for human interaction and often directly influences the course of action on the global stage. Geography remains the silent yet ever-present player in every nation's story, shaping its past, present, and future. Countries make strategic moves based on geography. Russia's quest for a warm water port drove its push toward the Black Sea and the annexation of Crimea. China's construction of islands in the South China Sea is about controlling vital shipping lanes and projecting power. The United States benefits from 2 ocean barriers and friendly neighbors, giving it unique security and economic advantages. Its vast river network makes internal trade easy, fueling growth and global influence. Egypt's Suez Canal, a man-made choke point, gives it leverage over global trade. When the canal is blocked, the world feels it, showing how geography can grant immense power. These examples show how nations use their maps to gain advantage. Geography is both a challenge and an opportunity for every country. Why does all of this matter to you and me? Why should we care about these complex global interactions? Understanding geopolitics transforms the often overwhelming and confusing world news from mere chaos, a jumble of events, into a clear, connected story, revealing the underlying patterns and motivations. You'll begin to see the logic, however unsettling, behind conflicts, the formation of alliances, and the relentless struggles over vital resources, often deeply rooted in geography and the physical landscape of our world. It empowers you to become a more informed and engaged citizen, seeing beyond the surface of headlines to understand the real, often hidden forces at play. International relations aren't simply a matter of heroes and villains, good versus evil, but rather a complex interplay of nations acting in what they perceive to be their own best interest, profoundly shaped and influenced by their land, their resources, and their location. As the world grows ever more interconnected and interdependent, geopolitics provides a framework for understanding critical issues like climate change and its global impact, resource wars that threaten stability, and the devastating spread of global pandemics. The very mountains and oceans that shape the rise and fall of empires throughout history continue to exert a powerful influence on today's world, shaping our present realities. Reading the map not just as a geographical representation but as a strategic chessboard gives you a timeless and invaluable tool for understanding the past, navigating the present, and anticipating the future. Geopolitics, in essence, is the essential story of how our planet, in all its complexity and beauty, ultimately shapes our shared destiny.